And Ramazan Mubarak to you all, and welcome to FYI. This is for your information, your go to source for community empowerment, and everything you need to know about the incredible people and organisations making a difference across Wolverhampton. I'm your host, Alvina Ali, and it's great to have you with me for 2026. Many of you will know, Ramadan Radio Wolves has now transitioned into Iman 1, broadcasting on DAB 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. As we continue to serve our communities with faith, inspiration, information, and connection all year round. Here on FYI, we shine a spotlight on inspiring individuals, community projects, and opportunities available right on your doorstep, helping you stay informed, connected, and empowered. Today's show is all about giving back, community leadership, and the power of volunteering. Now, I'm delighted to be joined by someone who has dedicated so much time and passion to supporting others. Rajiv Danjal, who is also the director and volunteer at Secret Angels. Now, Rajiv has been instrumental in delivering vital projects, including food support, community outreach, and digital inclusion initiatives, helping hundreds of residents access support and opportunities. Now, I'll be talking to him about his journey into volunteering, his role as a director, the impact Secret Angels is making, and the exciting recognition through the King's Award for Voluntary Service, also known as the CAVS Award. Rajiv, welcome to FYI.
Thank you, Alvina. Thank you for inviting me onto your show. It's a great pleasure to volunteer. It's a great pleasure for me to help the community. It's something people know me for. I will do anything for anybody, which is not a good way to become rich and famous, but it's what makes me happy. So that's what I've been doing for many, many years. And I'll tell you a little bit more about myself in a few moments.
So why don't we do this? Let's start by getting to know you a little more. So tell us about your journey. How did you first get involved in volunteering, and what inspired you to step into this role?
Okay, yep. So probably about 10 years ago, I was working on a project at the University of Wolverhampton where I worked in the built environment. And that's when I first met Alvina Ali, and we worked together on the actual work of the university. But Alvina herself has been volunteering or doing voluntary work for many, many years before, and wanted to have her own charity. So she started that charity, and as it happened, unfortunately, COVID-19 came along, and suddenly all of this country and many, many other countries suddenly found there were people in the community who were cut off. Okay, they had their friends, their family visit them from time to time, no longer possible. They didn't have mobile phones, far too complicated. They didn't have the internet, they didn't have communications equipment. This was seriously lonely for them. Even now, many years later, 5 years later, people still haven't recovered. The council decided that we need to do something because this is not really a good way forward. We know the disaster that happened when kids couldn't get educated, and they've got their whole life ahead of them. But when elderly people couldn't communicate because they didn't know how to, the council had to step in. And by then, Alvina had started her charity, her food charity, which we had to give parcels of food to those in need. But the council, they said, look, we're going to start a program where we're going to give out equipment to those who need it. And myself being an IT expert, Alvina approached me and said, can you help? And I said, well, okay, yep, I'm more than happy to help. Particularly when the breaks from COVID-19 came through, So we then, whilst wearing our masks, we made it known that we could help you. We could provide you with equipment as provided by the council. The council, in fact, told us who to provide the equipment to, and in some cases we were given what we call dongles. So those are little internet access points. You put a SIM into it, and now suddenly somebody's got say an iPad and a little bit of portable internet, and now suddenly they could get access. Of course, they didn't know how to use this equipment, and that's where I stepped in, and I showed the community that were pointed towards us how to use this equipment, how to set it up, and take it from there. And then really it grew from there when I took early retirement because of one of my previous jobs. I basically had to take the money because it was retire at 63. So I suddenly had a lot more time on my hands, and that's when I decided, well, let's use this time to do this work in the daytime as well. And that's when my plugged in IT skills for everyone programs started at the libraries, and in fact you can find me at 4 of the libraries around Wolverhampton. You can come on a Tuesday morning to the Wensfield Library, 2 hours. You can come to the Warstones Library in the afternoon, 2 hours. You can come to the library on a Wednesday at Blaken Hall, Bob Jones Community Centre, for 2 hours in the morning, 10:30 to 12:30. And you can also come to the Whitmoreens Library from 2:30 to 4:30. So that's the reason why I am still involved in providing IT skills and information to the community. And during the month of Ramadan, I'm also presenting 2 shows. The show previous to Alvina's show, that's where I started to talk about IT. And on a Monday, if you tune into this radio station at 4 o'clock to 4:30, I'll be telling you more about what the Secret Angels charity does for the Wolverhampton and local community. And then in the second half hour of the show, I'll be talking more about IT skills and hopefully somebody who wants to come online can speak with me either via WhatsApp or via the telephone. And if somebody really wants to become famous, they can come onto the show as a presenter or as a guest, and we'd be happy to have you on board.
Lovely, Raj. It's always inspiring to hear what drives people to give back. Obviously, you are the director, and thanks for sharing your role and your involvement on a day-to-day basis. But for anyone listening who may not know much about Secret Angels, can you tell us about the organisation and its mission?
Certainly. So Secret Angels provides many different sorts of service. The one that I've been talking about, that is something, as I say, I do mainly on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. In person, but also on a Tuesday, the Secret Angels charity, it's not really a charity, it's a CIC, it's a community community interest company, and therefore we are almost a charity, very, very similar to a charity. On a Tuesday morning, between the time of 10:30 to 12:30, if you go down the Cannock Road to the Park Village Education Centre, there's a second door, and at that second door you may well find a queue of people waiting for food, okay, waiting for the food bank to open. And within those 2 hours, we get something like about 20 to 30 people that we can serve. It takes about 5-ish minutes to take people's details, to provide them with food, the types of food that they need, and then we then serve the next person. There's a range of foods that are available. In some instances, people want only vegetarian food, and we do have that. In some instances, people want halal food, and that is also available, although not always. We have fresh food that's given to us typically the day before, and then in some instances we have things for babies who, as I say, nappies in particular, over the different sizes. So depending on what we have, we can make it available. And there's a reasonable amount given to people. There are some basics like pasta and so on that are long shelf life products that we can nearly always have. And also the day before, as in Friday evening, some of the volunteers, they go to certain stores, Co-op being one of them. I think Aldi as well has now come on board. So there's a number of others where any food that will be out of date on the next day is collected by our volunteers and is made available on that Tuesday morning. So things that run out, bread, for example, certain cold items, certain fresh food, bananas, for example, can look happy one day and then look worth throwing away the next day. So just before that happens, these supermarkets provide them to us. And in some cases, we get a lot of pre-made sandwiches. We get frozen food that's been just sat there for too long. But of course, these professional retail organisations simply cannot sell food where the sell-by date has passed. But in many instances, it's perfectly fine to eat the next day.
It is. Just going back onto the food bank, can you let people know if anyone is financially struggling, they're on a little budget, how they can do a self-referral at the food bank?
Okay, then. So if you just turn up, for example, join the queue, make sure you come with a form of ID. We do really want to help the local community. We need to record that it really is you and that you're not going to go and sell the food somewhere else. It is for the people who need it. In some cases, if you're very much in need, we can possibly provide it to you without ID. But really, if you want to play fairly, then please bring some ID. So that we know where you live, we know who you are, we can prove to the organisations that fund us. I'm sure you wouldn't want ASDA to find out that we're giving food away to people and selling it.
Yeah, we don't want that, do we?
We don't want that, yeah. We need to give it to the needy. At the moment, we're doing what we call vouchers, 12 vouchers, which is that you can turn up 12 times.
In a year?
In a year. 12 times in a year. You don't have to come week after week after week. You might be in desperate need one month and not in desperate need for the next few months. So simply come along, join the queue, and as I say, we can provide food for you. Simple food, it's nothing extravagant, unless we've been given something extravagant. So, for example, sometimes or approaching the Christmas period, we do get extravagant food, and when we hand that out. Also near Easter, we collect Easter eggs for children. Now, these are not just needy children. These are children who might be from families that simply can't afford luxury items like Easter eggs. So if I remember correctly, last year we had a target of collecting 300 Easter eggs. 300 Easter eggs. So people came in, they volunteered Easter eggs. We had big organisations like, I think was it Lintor? They gave us something like 36 virtually adult-sized Easter eggs made of white chocolate. We collected all these Easter eggs, and it turns out we had 450.
No, 700.
Sorry, 700.
It went to 700 Easter eggs, which got distributed everywhere. Raj, thanks for sharing all that. Now, obviously, I know Secret Angels run a number of impactful projects, and the one area that is becoming more important than ever, as you've talked about, is the digital access. So what kind of impact have you seen from the digital inclusion sessions that you run? Are there any stories that stand out?
Yes, there are many, many stories, because there are people who are too scared to do anything, don't know who to turn to, and therefore they just feel stuck. Now, there are other people who simply cannot afford equipment, but if they could have some equipment and take it away, they can practice away. I have people who say to me, We really don't know how to use the equipment. But if you can teach us right from the beginning,
Yeah.
then that will really help. And although this might frustrate many people because they're young and they know how to use technology, there are some people who just don't know anything. And I have to start right from basics. And I get somebody like that almost every week. And they say, "Oh wow, you're explaining it in such a simple way. I don't feel scared anymore now. If you weren't here, I would know how to turn the computer on. Well, the library will do that for you. I can log in. The librarian will do that for me. But now I kind of think, okay, so that's how you use a web browser. That's what happens when you press this button. That's what cut and paste means. That's how." Links, how you can tell the difference between what you can press and what you can not press. So that is something that happens on a almost weekly basis. I have 2 hours available, and there are people with tiny little problems, 5 minutes long. I've got these bank statements, but I haven't got a printer at home. How do I print them off? Very, very easy to do at a library. You simply come in either with your phone, if your bank statements are on your phone, or you come with a USB stick. Some people do have computers at home. They know how to use them. They just can't afford a printer because they don't print very often.
Yeah.
So when people come to the library, I show them how to print off certain things. They think, wow, that's absolutely great. That's so easy, 30 pence per copy. Why should I spend £200 on a printer when I only want a couple of pieces of paper? So they're ever so pleased. And then there's other people with thousands of photographs on their phone, and they're worried. How do I get these photos off? What happens if I lose my phone? What happens if it breaks? Because if it breaks, then it's too late to get the phone.
You've lost everything then, haven't you? Yeah.
Well, that's actually what they think, but that's not always the case, because some people, particularly
iCloud?
iPhones, exactly, iCloud phones, they duplicate all your photographs onto the iCloud. So if we can get onto their iCloud account, if we can log into their iCloud account, then all their photos are there. People don't always know that. So sometimes they come all worried, and I say, well, can you remember your password? Because if you don't know your password, you might get really stuck if you haven't prepared. So each person I meet, I tell them your password is so important. And particularly lately, people have been setting up something called multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
So multi-factor authentication means you can't just get into certain systems, that you have to have a second way of proving yourself. And this is particularly important for people who have their phones stolen.
Yeah.
So stolen phones, and this actually happened yesterday in one of our libraries. Somebody attempted to steal the phone of a service user, but what they actually did was, rather than be caught walking off with this,
they hid it.
They turned the volume down, and they hid it behind some children's books. The lady was almost in tears.
I would be as well if it was my phone. Right. Now, it really shows, obviously, how access to technology can change lives. Now, volunteering, as you know, is at the heart of everything that you do. So why would you encourage others to volunteer? What are the benefits of volunteering, very quickly, because we've got just under 5 minutes?
Okay, well, there's benefits for young people. In other words, people who will be looking for a job, and they should really have something on their CV that shows that they can actually work, that they can work in a particular area. So, for example, if they like IT, they can come and help me. They can get some experience of what it's like helping people.
Yeah.
But more importantly, all work, every aspect of work is fixing a problem. Yeah, everybody who's doing a job is fixing a problem.
Yeah.
Nobody will come to you for anything unless they have a problem.
Yeah.
So I used to work in computer networking. Why did they pay me? Because people need computer networks. So they're going to pay somebody. a company, one person can't run the whole of the UK's network. You need lots and lots of people. So that one person, in my case IBM,
Yeah.
they've got a problem. They've got a network for which they're going to get a lot of money for, but they need people to actually run it.
Yeah.
They have a problem. If you're a computer network expert, you're going to fix that problem. You're going to fix that problem. The same with food. Asda need people to pack the shelves, etc. They've got a problem.
Yeah.
You're the solution to it.
Okay, I wanted to quickly get in this as well. I want to talk about the recognition. Now, Secret Angels has been connected with the prestigious CAVS Award, which is a King's Award for Voluntary Service, which for those listeners who are listening in who don't know what it is, it's an MBE for volunteers. So what does that recognition mean to you and the team as well?
It's an MBE equivalent. So if a person has been very, very helpful to the community, the King will recognise their contribution and they become a member of the British Empire. In terms of charities, it's the equivalent. So there are lots and lots of charities across the country, but for some charity that has been recognised especially, they can apply for this King's Award, and there's approximately 20 charities across this country that have been awarded that King's Award.
231.
Oh, even better than,
Yeah.
Okay, then. So we are hoping to go and see the King at a ceremony where there'll be other charities. I thought it was 20, but there's a lot more.
There
clearly.
is. It was 250 last year, and they are being very strict and cutting down now. And only last year it went to 231.
Excellent.
Now, obviously, Raj, I've got to say it is such a huge achievement, and it's truly well deserved. Now, looking ahead, what are your hopes and plans for Secret Angels over the next year?
Well, before I move on to that, don't forget that the Secret Angels, Alvina, and our company director and our company secretary were found on page 1 of the Express and Star.
Right, I have to stop you there. We're coming to a close now. It was that good. I'll have to have you back. Okay. Right, so I've got to say thank you, Raj. So what an inspiring conversation. I tell you what, time has really run away. So a huge thank you to Rajiv Danjal for sharing his journey and for the incredible work he continues to do through Secret Angels to support our community. Now, if you'd like to find out more, access support or get involved as a volunteer, you can contact Secret Angels through the social media channels, whether it's donating, volunteering, or simply spreading the word. Every little bit helps to make a difference. So that's all for today's episode of FYI. Join me again next time as we continue to spotlight the people and organisations making Wolverhampton stronger together. Now remember, you can now listen to us all year round on Iman 1 on DAB, keeping you informed and connected 24/7. So, Raj, you want a quick 30 seconds?
Yes, thank you again. I have another show on a Monday, 4 o'clock. To 4:30, where I'll be talking more about what the Secret Angels charity does. So I'll be talking about all the other projects for about 24 minutes. And then in the second half of the hour, I'll be talking about IT. So if you're interested in my IT work, you can tune into that show.
Okay, thank you, Raj, for that. Until then, stay informed, stay empowered, and stay connected. Take care.